speaking, me swearing,
not gonna
but
find
you're
the
not
common
upset
ground.
by seeing an innocent, vulnerable being in the back of a trailer having this happen.
You hear
that
worse.
okay?
You hear worse on a TV programme every
no,
day.
no, I
it's
accept
pumped
that.
through your TV
But
screens.
Yeah.
let's turn it the other way. If somebody here, one of the farmers had said, "You're a fucking monster,"
We have it all the time.
But we're not fucking monsters. We're
Could
trying
you
to
let-
stop the fucking monsters.
could you let
I
me
didn't
finish?
say a word to him
Would you not
earlier today, and he
expect
started
me, if it
swearing
happened
at
in front of me, to
immediately.
challenge it?
Well, we do have it all the time.
No, Debbie, that's not what I asked. If a farmer said to you, "You're a fucking monster," and I saw it, would you expect me to challenge it?
Only if you were going to challenge us, I would
Exactly.
expect you to treat us equally.
And I'll tell you the date as well.
If someone,
November the
they
2nd.
didn't-
people can call me whatever they
We're-
like. I'm
we're
not offended.
We're not going to find a common ground. I've challenged it because I felt I needed to challenge it. That's it.
But you know this is a very emotive thing that's happening here.
absolutely.
And you know that as vegans and animal activists as well, that we're going to be offended by what we see in these trailers.
Yes.
So there has to be a bit of understanding
But not
there.
only
We're not going to be
vegans.
using the language that you want us to use,
No,
polite, nice language, when we're seeing
And I
horrific
appreciate
things.
if there is a dialogue between people and emotions run high, language will be used. I'm not going to accept someone walking up to the side of a vehicle and saying, "You're a
That's
fucking
exactly
monster."
what just happened. No, you're just
No,
saying.
no, that's what you did.
I walked up to the trailer. I saw a baby and a mother in the back of that, and I reacted like you said. As you understood, people would be upset by this, and I
Well, we're not going to find a
reacted
common
by
ground,
being
are we?
upset.
But I've challenged it because I felt I needed to.
I
Do you
think-
understand that?
I think what we're saying is that the action of the farmers is the issue, not the language we use about what they're doing. That the police don't seem to be at all concerned about what is actually taking place. You're looking at our reaction to a bad act, and
Yes.
then you're challenging
But
us,
that
but not
act-
that.
They're going about their lawful business.
Doesn't make it right.
Just
No,
because
and I
it's
know
lawful
that.
does not mean to say it's morally right. As
No,
we know.
I know that, but that's not for me to say which side that sits on.
But you are sitting on the side.
No, I'm not. I'm really not.
Because you're turning a
every-
blind eye to what's happening in there. There was
How am I turning a blind eye to what?
to what we're saying is happening in
That
there.
trailer was
Yeah.
that mother and her baby, a new,
It was a tiny-
practically
did you see-
newborn
did you see the
baby,
baby?
taken into slaughter probably.
Well, I can show you a picture. Tiny baby, yeah, taken into a livestock market with cows and sheep and all sorts. It's a terrifying experience. God knows what they're going to do with them, the pair of them. A lot of these animals, as we know, are going to slaughter. They're bought to go to slaughter. That's going to upset us, yeah, because that's everything we are against. We are against all animal exploitation. We know they're going to be bred to eventually die, or be sold straight away
No,
to be killed.
What's that? I can't see. Okay.
We can't monitor every word that comes out of our mouth when we see things that are offending us and upsetting us, and it should be upsetting you guys to see things like this.
You got there, Rita.
Oh, thank you.
So I think you need
You
to.
should see the response that I get to any of my Tourette's coming out, or my OCD, or
It's
any
beyond
of the
the
other
point.
things.
This
That's
is a
irrelevant.
baby, but all of these animals are being taken in here against their will to be abused and murdered. And that's enough reason to be speaking honestly to these people, holding them accountable for what they're doing.
And all
That's
these
what I'm
animals that go to
doing. Now, if
slaughter
they
are babies.
That is a
They're all
monstrous
babies.
act, and these people should hear this.
Yeah, go through.
People don't realise that the pigs that they're eating are less than 6 months old. They are bred to be huge, so they look like adults. They are less than 6 months old. Every animal that we're eating, generally speaking, are babies. But because they're genetically built like that...
Can I ask this is a real genuine question. The protest you do here, what difference does it make? This isn't me being
It's
flippant.
highlighting. It's highlighting to
how
people
does
that don't
this
know.
change what's happening?
Because we're highlighting to the public what's taking place in these places. We see animals here that are injured, that have been obviously hurt by the farmers. We see ones with tumours and illnesses. People don't realise that these animals are mistreated. They don't realise what goes into the meat that ends up on their plate. They just see happy cows in the field.
Supposed to be driving down.
They see happy cows in fields and they think that's what
You
they're
should
eating, and they're
understand
not
a bit
eating
about
that.
protesting anyway, and you know that like civil rights movement, many people didn't understand why they were doing what they were doing, but they changed
Until after
the
the
law.
event.
Yeah,
And the
but-
same with women's rights, gay rights, trans
I'm
rights,
interested.
every
I'm interested
rights.
to know
Yeah, slavery.
how it does change.
We get a lot of
I'm
people
gonna
that message the page, message us personally, and tell us, by seeing what they've seen here, has changed their thought process. and they have turned their back on eating meat, dairy, and eggs and things like that. Because people don't know. We've been on farms. We know the reality. You only see on like Sainsbury's, you see these pictures of farm with a lovely happy cow. They're not happy cows. For every glass of milk you drink, there is a baby that's lost a mother and a mother that's lost the baby. Because the baby cannot survive without the milk from the mum. We steal the baby's milk from the mum. The males are shot, dead, and the females are then bred to be more milk producers for man. I mean, we're the only mammal in the world that drinks another mammal's milk. We're weaned at 6 months, generally speaking. Some go a little bit longer, but we're weaned off milk. Why are we drinking another mammal's milk? And you think drinking milk is not damage anything because you can't see the blood and guts and the dead bodies, but the dairy industry is worse than the meat industry. It is more horrific. We see downed cows that have just been bred till they can't stand anymore. Their udders are dragging on the floor. It's horrific. You need to Google it and you need to watch it because people don't understand why we're so passionate. They just think we're stupid little vegans who don't want an animal going to a livestock market. It's because we have seen the process these animals go through. When you look at how a pig is killed in a gas chamber and how they scream and writhe around and people are told it's painless. Did the Jews think it was painless when they were gassed to death?
How
it's
long
exactly
have you
the same.
been involved in this?
We've been here since 2017.
And so since then to now, have you seen a positive change or?
We've seen a negative change from the farmers because obviously they've got angrier and angrier since we've been here.
Yeah.
And the reason they're getting angry is because we're having an impact. If we weren't making an impact, they wouldn't care. They wouldn't care about us. It's like any civil sort of movement. I think he was driving. Any civil movement, they laugh at you first of all, and then they get angry at you. And we're at the angry stage now, which means we're doing something right because everyone's getting angry with us. We're shining a light on an industry that has been so well hidden for so many years because it's a money-making industry. Anything that earns the government, society money is well protected. That's why they won't let you go onto these farms. That's why they've now put cameras up everywhere. They don't want the public to see what is reality.
Do you know what happens in here?
I think someone drove into farm road.
What happened? What? But this incident?
Oh no! Sorry. When they go past the gates.
Yes, there's a big ring.
Do you know what happened? Have you been in there?
I have not been in there. No, I've been in the market when we first got here.
Right.
We went in the market once.
Yeah.
But we've not gone into the market since. But I've been to other markets, and they're sold. It's like animal slavery. People don't like that name, but they are slaves. They're incarcerated. They're under the control of someone all the time. They have no freedom to move around. They have no freedom to do what they want. They are incarcerated. And they're just sold. And they're either sold, like I said before, to be bred from, to be fattened up to be killed, or to be killed. That's the three choices these animals have when they leave this trailer and they go in there, all ultimately leading in death. And it's not a painless death. And people will lead you to believe that eating that meat, all these labels they put on, red tractor, assured, all these things that they put on there to make you feel better about eating your meat. But when you've seen the slaughter process, it's horrific, absolutely horrific. You wouldn't be able to eat. If you're a decent person, which I'm sure you are, if you went through the process of seeing these animals on the farms and seeing the conditions they're kept in, dead piglets around their mums just left there to rot, flies all over them, rats running around all of them. And these are not isolated places. We choose, when we did Meet the Victims, we chose good farms because we wanted to show that even on a good farm it's rubbish and awful. And that's the conditions they're kept in. The pigs are just slammed against the wall to kill them. If they don't think they're going to survive, they slam their heads against the wall. And it's legal to do that because the law is on their side. And if you could go in there and see how they're kept and follow them in the process and see them slaughtered, you would never eat meat again or dairy.
And this kind of movement presumably is replicated throughout the country.
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously animal rights have been going for donkey's years, and it goes through stages of different methods of using it. I mean, we're a peaceful group. There have obviously been groups in the past that have been more direct in what they do. But at the end of the day, we're trying to get the message out to people that you've been lied to. You are being lied to. Do not believe everything you see. Do not believe everything you're told. Look for yourself. And we are a few people that have actually looked for ourselves.
The government stuff.
The government pays them. gives them subsidies. It's a money-making business. Anything that creates a lot of revenue is protected. And that's why they want us shut down. That's why from above, they're told, get rid of them, because we're telling people the truth. We don't lie. We've got no reason to lie. What do we gain from being here? And you have to think to yourself, what do they gain from lying? What do we gain from lying? I make no money out of this. This costs me money. Every time I come down, it costs me money. I get no money from other activists. I get no money from the public. I work. I'm a normal person. You know, I've had children. You know, I'm a mum. What have I got to gain to lie? They have got their whole livelihoods to lie for. And the government make money out of this. That's why they lie. They don't want it to stop. Which is why in a lot of countries they make it so difficult now for activists to speak out. And that's why they're trying to obviously change the law on trespass and everything, because they don't want people to see. And I'm saying, when you come and deal with us, we're normal people. We're kind, caring people, and we've been treated worse than criminals down here. Worse than criminals.
So, from a policing point of view, it's a really... Yes, of course. It's a really difficult position to be in.
Yeah, I understand that.
We're impartial, we have to keep the peace, we have to maintain traffic.
Yeah.
It's really difficult.
Which is a big headache.
It is very difficult. And then as soon as we focus on a particular person or group, because of whatever's happened, we're seen as taking sides, and it's a really difficult balance, I'm not going to lie to you, particularly with the resource we've got. But it's really interesting hearing where you're coming from. Because that is
it's
important.
coming from a good place.
As much as I can, I do understand.
Yeah. I know you can't.
But it's a
show
very,
opinion. I understand.
No, that's the difficulty.
Yeah, I know that.
Because to remain impartial is quite a difficult thing when emotions suddenly come into it.
But my one thing I'd like you to take home with tonight is look into it and see it. They're not made up videos. These are people that have been on the farms. They've seen it for themselves. Yeah. And again, nothing to gain from lying. I don't like going to slaughterhouses. I don't like having to watch these animals in their last few moments before they're going to be slaughtered when I know what's going to happen to them.
No, of course.
But if we don't stand up and show people images of these animals, they're just commodities. And we're trying to show all these animals, like this mum and baby that we showed you the picture of, that's a family. And they're being ripped apart by people just for their flesh. And that's not right. We're all vegan. We don't need meat to survive. You don't need to drink another mammal's milk to survive. Why would you do it? Why would you take another animal's life to eat a food that you don't need to eat when there's all these other things that you can have now that replicate? They can look like it, they can smell like it, they can taste like it. If that's what you really want, why would you not have that
It is
and harm an animal?
It's interesting.
And they do feel. They've got personalities. You know, when you spend time on a sanctuary and you see how they interact with each other, they have got family units. They care for each other. They will protect their own, just like you will protect your family. They try and protect their family. And we're taking that away from them.
It's interesting. It is interesting.
Yeah. But like I say, have a look.
Yeah, no, I will.
yourself.
We have to strike that balance.
I know your professional head is very different from your, your own personal head. But all I'm saying is, when you're dealing with activists that are saying a swear word, you have to understand where we're coming from.
Yeah, no, sure.
We're coming from a place of passion, because if you saw someone that you cared about being hurt, you wouldn't say to that person, could you please stop hurting that person? Your adrenaline would be going, you'd be angry, and you'd be saying, get off that person. You'd be,
of course.
You wouldn't be thinking about the words you're using in that moment. You know, we're not trying to say it to offend. We're saying it because that's how we feel.
Yeah.
Okay.